Speaking of picketing morons, well, I mean, these ones aren't quite as dim, but they're just as entitled. The teachers are going on strike next week. It looks like it's almost inevitable. They turned down a deal that would make them the second highest paid in Western Canada, capping out after 5 years, I believe it is, at getting up to $114,000. Don't forget, you get July off, August off, a break in November off, Christmas break off, spring break off, sick days, benefits, an incredible match pension plan, and they're whining. I know it's not an easy job. That's why I wouldn't want to do it. But I also know that they're bloody well paid well enough. Plus, the government promised to give 3,000 more teachers. You can't just pull them out of the air. It's an addition, but it wasn't enough. Why? I don't know. They're just greedy, to be blunt. That's what it is. Let's talk about who a lot of the teachers are. Teaching is a calling. We know that. All of us who went through school know we had teachers who were incredible. Some who wholeheartedly embraced what they were doing. They loved what they were doing. They saw it as a role to take on, to make children better functional as they grow to become adults and live a good life in society. And there were some who were just mailing it in. And more and more of them are mailing it in. I tracked this all the way back down to our post-secondary institutions, shoving kids into all over the place the liberal arts programs, which fine if you want to take them. But eventually people with liberal arts degrees get tired of making lattes. You know, that philosophy degree just didn't pay off. So then they upgrade to a teaching certificate because they know that they can get all those summer holidays, a good pension, and all the rest. Because it's a short leap to go there and make decent money. The problem, again, though, is they aren't in it because they love it. They're in it because they feel they have to. So then the motivation starts turning into, I just want to get as much out of this as I possibly can while I'm here. That's why they're getting run ragged. Yeah, when you do a job you can't stand, it gets a lot more tiresome. This system needs to change. The teachers' union is holding parents hostage. And it's interesting. I was listening. I pain myself by listening to talk radio. I still like to keep up on things before I come into here, the studio in the office. And I listen to the talk scandalously saying the government had a plan before the strike. They already had a plan in place to give money to parents to help pay for childcare to carry them over during the strike. Well, yes, you should have a plan. We've seen this coming down the pipe for months. You know, you guys would have crapped all over the government if they didn't have a plan. But what it is indicating is the government's willing to wait this one out. They're not ready to quickly capitulate. They're making it clear that this sucks, but parents, your kids are going to be home for a while. Their education is going to be stunted because the teachers got greedy. And they're going to help you a little bit while you wait this out. But I think hopefully, it's starting the framework for changing the whole system. One of the things we need to get out of the system is the bloody unions. Now, the right for organized labor is an important one. We can't get rid of it. I don't believe in illegalizing unions. I do believe in right to work legislation, though. Let people choose. I believe in merit pay. And I very much believe in school choice. We should have a true voucher system. And if you're not familiar with what that means is, let's say there's this amount per child, whatever it might be, call it, this is just ballpark. Call it $10,000 a year per child. That's what it's worth. And the parent chooses a school, and they can dedicate that voucher, and those dollars will go to that school, whether it's homeschooling, whether it's a private school, whether it's a public school, whether it's a charter school, whether it's a religious school, it doesn't matter. And people say, oh, private tax dollars will go to private institutions. So what? They always do. Do you think they buy their stationery from a socialist government-owned corporation? We spend tax dollars on private provision of services at times. Yes, that happens in the healthcare system too, and it needs to happen more. Add a competitive element to these schools. People say it's unfair. The rich kids go to the private schools. Oh, get over it. Get over it. The politics of envy, you can't raise everybody up with the politics of envy. All you can do is drag everybody down to the same level of misery. It's the crabs in the bucket. You don't like that your neighbor can afford to take their kid to a better school? Then work a second job. Climb the corporate scrotum pole. Make more money so that you can do that and put your kids in a better spot. If you can't, well, that's the way it goes. But your kid gets the exact same amount of dollars as that kid does. That's true equality. In fact, you, if you were the low-income person complaining, probably paid a heck of a lot less into the system that led to that amount of dollars going into the voucher for your kid than the other person. And Then we can get the diversity of schools. I love it when listening to these educators. They don't like being called teachers anymore. They're teachers. Get over it. Talk about, well, we have all the diverse kids, all the diverse needs. They're all different. We have to have different setups. And I agree with that. That's absolutely true. All sorts of kids respond to different teaching environments. But then as soon as you actually propose changing it by having a variety of schools and school choices, suddenly the teachers union, oh, no. We all have to have them in the same standardized schools. We just want more money. That's the reality of what it always comes down to. We want more money. No, I want more schools. And part of it is the schools aren't responding and balancing to where the students need to be because it's too bloody hard to operate or move or shift or adapt to things in a union-controlled environment. Inner city schools in the bigger cities are actually underpopulated, whereas the ones in the suburbs where everybody's moving are overloaded. Well, let's work on rebalancing that. Let's work on changing it. Let's have new schools springing up in areas where there are need through private investment. If the voucher follows the kid, take some of that pressure off specialized schools. That's the way to go, but that terrifies the unions. Remember, the unions, they don't care about the kids, guys. I'm not saying teachers are heartless and hate kids. But when you talk to the union group, guys, they're there for the teachers. There's no other two ways about it. Some of those numbers going on, I believe it's about 50-some thousand teachers in Alberta. If you divide it up, there's like a teacher for every 20 students. So they scream about alleged classes with 40 kids in them. But you know what? They've screamed about that since the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to now. They've always screamed about that. Some schools, if you look around, because of that imbalance between inner and suburban areas, you will be able to find overcrowded classes. If you look hard enough, you'll find some classes where there's one teacher with 10 kids. So why don't we try to maintain the balance more instead of just tossing more money at them? Well, because that's all they're asking for is more money. They're just pretending it's about the kids. And they're playing the nasty games. This gets back to what I was talking about when they're doing things like stacking the microphones at an Alberta Next panel. Remember, the kid came up talking teachers union talking points. These are the tricks they pay. Take a 16-year-old kid, stick him at a microphone with a scripted thing to read. Do you think your average 16-year-old kid happened to know, oh, look, half an hour ago, here's the exact number that voted in the strike vote? Amazing. Man, that kid's tuned in, isn't he? Turns out he's a kid who's also organizing a student walkout in support of the teachers union. And it turns out that kid right afterwards went and did a video interview, sit down with Naheed Nenshi, the head of the NDP. This was just a run-of-the-mill student who was concerned with a question who got shut down at an event. No, he wasn't. He was a kid who was trained and put there as a plant by the teachers union to try and sidetrack an event into something completely unrelated to it. So yeah, we've got a big battle coming up, guys. The posties will be the easier one to take on. The teachers are going to be a tougher one. But I think it's time to starve them out a bit. Make them a little hungry. Give them a month or two off. I know the parents are going to have to suffer, but you know what? When the teachers get a couple of months off, which can add up to $20,000 and more, that's going to cut into their summer vacation, isn't it? Maybe they'll start to see a little more reason, won't they? Start pretending to care about the students and get back to work.